Hello and welcome to Strange Talk with Doc. I hope everything is good with you. Everything's great with me. I am going to talk about my Las Vegas trip that was started in August, ended in September. It was a 7 day trip. I'm going to talk about food, sites, gambling, how COVID is going on there. I'm going to give you the realness. I'm not going to give you any bullshit that you're seeing by YouTubers that seem to be working for the corporations to pump up some things that are not actually going as they planned. I did have fun, and we will get to that if you stick through the show, or you could just fast forward to the parts where I discuss Vegas, and I'm going to discuss everything that I was involved with. You will hear the real dirt, okay? I'm not coming down on the place. Like I said, I want to reiterate that I had a great time. But there are some things that are out of whack, and we'll get to that. But I just want to go on with the show. So we lost Charlie Watts at the age of 80. Charlie Watts was the drummer for the Rolling Stones. I don't even know how they continue now moving forward. They're older men. I don't even know if it's worth the time, the energy, the effort. Charlie was such a big part of the group. He was with them since the 60s. Uh, I wish Charlie nothing but peace in the next life. I enjoyed his music. I'm a huge Stones fan. And also Serge Onik, a professional dancer who appeared on season 11 of So You Think You Can Dance. Matter of fact, by the way, I'm wondering if that show will ever return. I enjoyed So You Think You Can Dance. I think it's kind of a fun show. It's a jive show, but it's fun. He was 33 years old. Ed Answer, who played, who was on Mary Tyler Moore and the Lou Grant Show. He died at the age of 91 years old. Those are some classic shows. The Mary Tyler Moore Show was one of the all-time great shows. He was the grumpy director or editor of the news station. I mean, I'm sure that you are very familiar with who Ed Asner is. Former Bucks defensive end and Alabama star Keith McCants was found dead at the age of 53. This dude, when he was in college, was a beast. He was an absolute beast. We thought that this was going to be like a Hall of Fame football player. It didn't pan out. He had some problems. You could look that up yourself. I'm not here to shit on anybody's legacy or anything like that, but I'm just giving you the information. He died at the age of, like I said, 53. Daphne Unger, who played she was the screaming Daphne, crazy character who worked with David Flair, Ric Flair's son, back in WCW days. Unfortunately, it seems like she has committed suicide at the age of 46. There's a video out there. I refuse to watch these videos when these celebrities or pseudo celebrities are screaming for help, and it's troubling and it's upsetting, so I don't bother with it. But the message is here: check on your people. You got somebody that you know on social media has been acting erratic. Check on them. Don't wait until something happens. If you love them, check on them when they initially reach out. They're reaching out for help by what they post, what they say, the videos they put up. Don't wait until the funeral, cry, and then say, I wish I would have. No more wishing you would have. Make the effort. She was only 46 years old. And three-time Super Bowl champ David Patterson died at the age of 47 years old in a motorcycle accident. He had a nice long career. He won those three Super Bowls with the Patriots. I believe he played for the Giants and several other teams. But 47 is a very young age, and I wish him rest in peace. And Willard Scott, who was a longtime weatherman on NBC's Today Show, died at the age of 87. If you listen to my last show or last two shows, that you know that I was going through a copyrights violation for some music that I use as my lead into the show. But I knew the whole time that I had a license and that I should be allowed to use this music. Well, I posted a copy on YouTube of the picture where it states that I am fully legally licensed to use the music that leads into Strange Talk with Doc. And I'm very happy about that. So I actually won because I was in the right. I would not violate anybody else's artistic rights or anybody's artistic license. You create something, you have the right to profit off of what you create. And I don't have the right to take anything from anybody. They worked hard to develop. And I appreciate the fact that the owner of the song realized that he did give me the rights and I wasn't just going out of my way to violate him. Hurricane Ida has been causing a massive amount of damage. I mean, a lot of people lost their lives on the East Coast. It ripped through New Orleans. Now we might have Larry coming, which they say could even be stronger. And I believe it's heading directly to the East Coast. It's not even going to go the southern route this time. I was lucky enough to fly in and out and not be affected at all by Ida or Harry. And I appreciate that. I feel blessed that I was not able to at all feel that both my plane flights was smooth as silk. Maybe, and I'm not even jiving you, maybe 30 seconds of bumping, and that was it. And we're talking over 8 hours and change of flying combined. I couldn't ask for better flights. So today is D-Day for the people who are still receiving those benefits, unemployment benefits. September 6th, which is today, 7.5 million people are going to either have to go back to work or they are going to just out now lose these benefits. Now, this comes into play with Las Vegas also, because I believe that a lot of workers who should be at work, but because they're still receiving these benefits, have taken the time off. And they said, I'm going to milk it to the very end. And they have not come back to work. And it has suffered. It has made places like Las Vegas suffering because Las Vegas is seriously understaffed, people. I don't give a fuck what no YouTuber says that everything is back to normal. There is no back to normal yet. This is 2021. We're still wearing masks. It is not back to normal. But like I said, I will get into that. So the California Parole Board decides that they're going to release Sirhan, who's 77 years old after 53 years in prison. This guy committed a murder in public in front of hundreds of people. He should have, I mean, sometimes life without the possibility of parole must mean life without the possibility of parole. Fuck you, California parole, for doing this. For doing this to living members of his family who never even had the father to help raise them. And the trauma that this caused to the people who had to see this. And to adding to the Kennedy legacy of violence. So COVID-19 is up to 41 million cases in the United States. 667,000 people have died. Supposedly, we have 375 million people vaccinated. Worldwide, there's 222 million cases and 4.6 million people have died. Now, we're going through this thing about the booster shots, if they're necessary. I mean, I'm starting for the first time in my mind to actually understand a little bit, and I'm not saying massively, I said a little bit, why people do not want to get the vaccination. We are still under mask, and the report came out this week that we might be under mask until at least spring of 2022, which means all winter, people, all winter, and there's no promises in spring. So you say, what's going on with all these people vaccinated, but we can't come out of mask? We still need to distance ourselves to a certain degree. People are still getting sick. People are still dying. We thought the vaccination was going to help us. So I watched a couple of things on TV. I watched Respect, which is the Aretha Franklin autobiography. It was a pretty good autobiography, but it ended abruptly in 1972. It makes no sense because the woman went on to do a lot of great things after 1972 and just having captions run at the bottom of the screen that she did this and she did this. That's bullshit. When you tell a life story, tell a story from beginning, middle, and end. Give us an ending. The woman has passed away. We could have found out about that. Things happened interesting in her family with her father. We could have found out about that. She had other marriages. We never even hit on those. I mean, so all in all, it was only an all right documentary. I mean, movie. American Horror Story double feature started. And the first two episodes were actually the first three episodes were pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. It's standard American horror. You're gonna get twists and turns. It's dealing with some crazy vampires. You have to check it out for yourself. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. The Walking Dead is back. I'm enjoying that. I'm trying to find out what's going on with these Reapers. I'm sure you are too. And I got into Ted Lasso. I'm on season one of Ted Lasso, and so far, so good. Ted Lasso's a very good show, but these are hardcore British accents. So you have to be in a quiet area and sit down and literally listen and pay attention because some of the accents are over the top. And I also watched Ladies and Gentlemen. My name is Paul Heyman. This is one of the better WWE DVD documentaries that they've ever done. And I don't remember the first time I seen it. Maybe originally when it came out in like 2014 or something like that. But it was worth watching again, and I'm glad I did. Now we're going to get on to Las Vegas, people. It's time to talk about Las Vegas. First of all, I flew on JetBlue. JetBlue is kind of funny and sad at the same time. JetBlue actually did like a 3-minute commercial on the flight going to Vegas at the end of the trip for you to sign up for their JetBlue card. I thought it was fucking ridiculous. We're sitting there, we're chilling, we're watching a movie. You know, they give you one snack, and I mean one fucking snack, one small stack. They have water on board, but it's not individual bottles of water. It's a bottle of water that they share in cups with everybody. We're in COVID-19 and they owe one bottle of water, $1 billion corporation, not even little nips, say 10-ounce nips. You can give that to everybody. But no, this is like a bottle of water that you could buy at Walgreens or CVS, and then they just pour it in cups and give it to you. So as far as that went, that sucked. But the TV, they have direct TV. So you got all these channels, you got all these movies. They have HBO shows, Showtime shows, so you can keep up with stuff like that. I mean, the seats are more comfortable. You get a little bit more distance in the seats. It seems like they have improved the air plane itself. But I mean, I understand that they don't want to give you food and stuff, but that shared bottled water and one fucking snack, one 3-ounce snack for hundreds of dollars didn't make sense. McCarran's airport is definitely suffering from a lack of workers. So many stores were closed, and I am talking about we landed at 11:30 Vegas time. Stores closed, up and down. Coming back, I'm gonna hit both sides. Coming back, there was barely anything open but fucking Quiznos. Now this is a huge airport. Maybe they don't give as much attention to the JetBlue Delta terminal as they do the others, but this was kind of bad and sad. Where I left from, Raleigh, North Carolina, had more stores open than a 24/7 town, which made no sense. Now, you might have seen online, especially YouTubers like to promote this, that there's free play at certain hotels for your birthday. Well, it was my wife's birthday, and supposedly Park, Excalibur, and Luxor give you free play on the week of or the day of your birthday. That's bullshit. That's no more right now. None of them are doing that. This is straight facts. None of them are doing it right now. So if you're seeing a video and somebody's claiming that, they're pulling your card, they're playing with you. It's an old video to begin with. It has not been updated. They should go in there and update even in just the description that this was procedure pre-pandemic. Right now, it's not happening. Vegas is a huge vaping town, humongous vaping town, and the fucking vape smells like marijuana. I don't know, maybe it is marijuana. I'm not a pothead aficionado, and I don't really care. If kids and young people or middle-aged people want to smoke weed, that does not bother me. But I mean, it's just a foul smell, and you smell it everywhere. Everywhere you go, you smell this one smell. The Eiffel Tower light show was my first time seeing it. I think it's pretty nice, and you should, if you got 5 minutes of your life, grab your camera, your phone, whatever, tape it so you could have a copy. It's a beautiful display. You got the fountains on one side, you got the Eiffel Tower display light show going on the other side. The Bellagio Conservatory was in great shape. It looked beautiful as usual, but I know that they were closing on 8/28 to do it up for fall. I don't know how long that's going to take. I went over to Big Owl's. Big Owl's is at the Orleans Hotel. I love Big Owl's. You go over there, eat seafood. It's not ridiculously priced. It's fairly priced. But while we're eating dinner, we look over and there's a guy with his ass crack completely out. I mean, both ass cracks. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a picture connected so you can see that I'm not jiving you. So you're sitting there, I'm eating my crab cakes and my clams on the half shell. And I look over and there's this big fat white ass just sitting out on the chair. You know what, people? Wear proper drawers. Wear proper underwear. Cinch up your belt. It's not a crime to own a belt and underwears that actually fit your body. So this clown, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done it. It might have been wrong, but I had to take a picture. Matter of fact, I took several pictures. New York Hotel. If you do not know, between Thursday and Sunday night, I believe 9, 10 o'clock to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there is a live DJ. It is a good scene. It's a party scene. It's indoors, so it's climate control. It's beautiful. Gonzalez and Guy Gonzalez over there is jamming. There's Latin music. New York is a very good place to go. Even if you're not staying at the hotel, just come over there on Thursday through Sunday. You can party down. There's people from all over the world. It's a beautiful scene. There's bathrooms accessible everywhere you look. A center bar that kicks out. I mean, we used to be big Harrah's Carnival Court people. Carnival Court, from the pictures that I've seen, is in sad shape. It looks like a Trump rally every time. You never see a person of any color. The only color that you ever see there is white. The bands are the same bands that were there 10 years ago, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Whippets. I mean, there's nothing new. There's nothing fresh. They don't even open to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, so right now, I'm not touching Harrah's Carnival Court with a 10-foot pole. I found here's another one. People pump the Ocean One Grill. And I understand the Ocean One Grill could be a great place, but what you need to be told is this. They open at 11:30. If you want to have those $5 lunches, make sure your ass is there by 10:30. Stand there, talk to the people that's in your life, or get on your phone, do whatever you have to do. But do not believe that these people are just walking through the front door. It's a very busy place. See, that's a myth and a lie. People make it seem like they just walked up and went in and got a seat. It's not happening. When we got there, say 11:15. There might have been a 40-minute line in front of us. So we went and got into the joint at 1 o'clock. And you know what? I'm not so desperate to eat anything that I'm going to wait 45 minutes for a $5 meal. I'm saying to myself, you know what? I can eat the same shit somewhere else. So we moved on. The Fulton Fish Market, America, and ChinChin at New York are all worth your time and your money. I got 2 orders of fish and chips, but was not that bad for $24. I thought that was great. ChinChin, I eat lunch there at least 2 times. America is 24/7, so you can go in there and get breakfast after hanging out, or you could even get off their late meal early in the morning. I mean, it's well worth it. I really like it. Now, what I would tell you is if you're a non alcoholic drinker and you are in New York, you might want to drink somewhere else. They make the worst non alcoholic drinks. I mean, they don't have what I call mixologists, they have what I call bartenders. Bartenders seem to follow a menu to the T. So their drinks taste like all fucking pineapple juice. It was miserable. I couldn't even drink. After, one day I drank nothing but water. I'm not a drinker, so I drank nothing but water one entire day because I was near the hotel. Uh, when I went to places like Palazzo, they could throw down. They had real mixologists. Circa had real mixologists. So if you tell them, listen, I don't drink alcohol, could you make me something? They could make you something beautiful. And we're talking $4 or $5 because there's no alcohol in it. That's one thing I'm going to give Vegas. They didn't charge me any prices as though it was an alcoholic drink for non-alcoholic drinks, which was kind of shocking because I thought they would. But I guarantee you, if I went to Carnival Court, they would have charged me $11 for a fruit punch. Vegas is definitely suffering from maybe an overworked but very unhelpful staff. Everybody seems to be a little bit nastier than normal, and that includes the cabbies. Cabbies are like shit. You get in the car, no good day, no nothing. You already tipped the dude to get you in the car. At least I do. I tip the guy who opens the door for me to get into the cab. He tells them where I'm going, and then you have to then repeat the same thing that this man just told them. He heard them. Hey, I'm going over to Orleans. Where you going? I mean, so minus one or two cabbies, and I must have took 20 while I was there. None of them said a fucking word. They treated you like they didn't want you in town. So I thought that was pretty shitty. I asked for help when I was downtown because we did take the deuce once. So we asked security. You would figure security would know where to catch the deuce going back to the strip. They sent us to the wrong place. It seemed like every time that we asked anybody who was staff anywhere, anything, they were not helpful. Okay, here's another one people tell you about. They post videos of all those Maybachs, Rolls Royces at Resorts World. Well, people, I'm here to tell you, all the fucking cars are gone except for one. The only car that was there, and I was there from August 26th to September the 2nd, is the Liberace limousine. The Liberace car, I posted a picture, is the only car left at Resorts World. I found Resorts World to be a grand disappointment. The nicest thing about Resorts World was they do have a lot of games, they do have an open space, and the ball is lovely. The ball changes colors and has shapes and 3D images in it. I thought that was pretty cool. I went over to one of my favorite places, Cosmo, on high recommendation to eat at Henry's. And so Henry opens at 11:30 at night. At first we thought, oh my God, Henry's not open. We get there 11 o'clock, Henry's closed. But 11:30 they opened. They took care of business. It was we got the short ribs on a bed of hash browns. It was like $20. The meat was so tender and delicious. When I finished the plate, I could have ate another one. It's not like they gave me a small portion. It just was so damn good. So I tip my hat to Henry. And by the way, I would like to give a shout out to GREENBERGS, also at New York, New York. If you're looking for a good sandwich, hoagie, hero, whatever you call it where you live, they make a good sandwich at Greenberg. It might be expensive, you might pay $15 for a sub, but they're packed with meat. The bread is very good. They'll even toast it for you. It reminds me of New York, New York, where you can get a hero, lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, and heat it. So I tip my hat to them. One night we were hanging out at New York, late night with the DJ, and a guy comes by me. a girl and two guys. So he gives me the knuckle. I should have known the dude was drunk. When he give you the knuckle and a total stranger comes up and says, "I love you, buddy," you know where it's heading. So these people decide to actually park, and boy, did they get pissed drunk. I am talking about pissed drunk. And they had a young lady with them who had to guide them or tried to guide them for like 2 hours to a cab. I mean, it was hilarious. They were walking around holding hands, young men, drunk as a skunk. So go have a good time. But don't get so drunk that you forget nights. I mean, you're walking around with your wallet, your credit cards. I mean, and the bartenders at New York, I say they fucked up. This dude was legally, all of them were legally beyond the limit, and the bartender was still serving them, still allowing them to go into their wallet and pull out their credit cards when they were pushing and falling all over people. You know what? Making money should never be more important than looking out for another human being because you don't know if that human being is going to get into a car. How do you know that? There has to be a limit. And I spoke to a bartender about that. He said sleeping at a bar means you're automatically cut off. Falling on people means you should be automatically cut off. So I found this to be really fucking ridiculous. The wildlife habitat at Flamingo. I don't give a fuck what video you just seen. I'm going to post a picture again. Is an abomination. The grass is brown. The water is dirty. The fish are gone. They got crows that look like they on crack hanging out there. The poor flamingos look bad. The fish, there's only like 5 or 6 fucking fish in all those ponds. The hummingbird feeder is gone, but the fountain looks beautiful. The fountain has beautiful water, but everything where the turtles and the ducks and the birds live looks really bad. I mean, it actually brought me down. I was so fucking sad when I left there. I was like, I cannot believe what's going on in Flamingo. I wouldn't stay at Flamingo if they gave me a 7-day free pass until they get their shit together. They are definitely struggling um, right now. Now, Circa Las Vegas. Everybody wants to go in the back and see the pool, the sports pool. Well, I'm gonna tell you now, Monday through Thursday, that shit is $20 per person to go back there. Friday through Sunday is $40 per person. So you see these YouTubers go back there and they film it like if though there's no price. But I'm here to tell you there's a price. Once again, Monday through Thursday is $20 per person. Friday through Sunday is $40 per person. This does not come with a drink. This does not come with a bed. This does not come with anything. It comes with nothing. All you get to do is walk back there, or if you have a swim trunk, you can swim back there. Now, maybe if you're staying at an adjacent or family hotel, you don't have to pay these prices, but I'm talking about Joe Blow who just wants to see back there because they've seen so many videos, which was my case. I wanted to go back there and check it out, but I was like, am I paying $40 just to walk around a pool? You got to be joking me, right? But Circa is a beautiful place. I will give it that. The hotel itself was beautiful. The bar, the super long bar was beautiful. The bartenders were cool. They were able to make a fucking drink, non-alcoholic and alcoholic for the wife. Um, I even won some money there, I believe. And I mean, the sports book is spectacular. I got no issues with that. So we did hang out a little bit on Fremont Street, not much, but a little bit. And we ran into a guy that we had been seeing since the 90s. We nicknamed him Fandango. If you ever on Fremont Street and you see this white guy, he wears a beard, like a Zorro hat, a long coat. I don't know how he gets by in this all black outfit in the middle of summer, but we call him Fandango. And we had thought, because we had seen somebody post a video of him a couple of years ago and he looked very ill, but he looked beautiful. We actually seen him. I mean, that was like a bright spot after, you know, after the letdown of the Circle Pool, we come outside, we go in the Golden Nugget. And by the way, the Plaza, the Golden Nugget, those motherfuckers are smokehouses, people. Uh, Smoke houses. I am talking about you can barely breathe in them. Which brings me to a point. There's this guy who does YouTube slots. And a lot of times he does YouTube slots from the Plaza Hotel. I'm not going to mention his fucking name, right? But I want somebody to explain to me, how could you have your picture all over a casino, including most of the slot machines, but yet you play against the house? Is that legal? I mean, is this dude hired by the hotel as like just advertisement? And his initials is BC. Anybody who would know BC knows that. Matter of fact, the dude is not only on almost every slot in the casino, he's also on the non-smoking sign in the casino. So I'm not understanding that one at all. The Deuce bus line is a long trip. If you take it from the strip to either the mall or you take it to Fremont Street, it's a long, miserable trip. You're better off hopping in a cab. Me personally, I did it just so that I could film myself going up and down the strip. A cab is not going to be as easy to film the whole strip, but it was hot. The week we were there was sizzling, man. I mean, I am talking 104, 105, 107. Some 1 or 2 nights, it was like damn near 100 at nighttime. So it was very, very, very hot. The Caesars bathrooms, other than Caesars itself and Planet Hollywood, you could smell the piss smell before you entered the bathrooms. I mean, I'm not jiving you people. They're seriously understaffed. Are they ready for the world? No, they're not. They're not conducting themselves as though they're ready full time. Like I said, I stayed at New York, New York. Only one day of the 7 days did housekeeping even call to find out if we needed our room clean. Thank God, only thing we ever needed was them to take the garbage and give us new towels and stuff. We handled that ourselves and we let them clean once. Because think about it, if you were home, do you change your towels every day? Probably not. If you're honest, do you change your bedding every day? Probably not. If you're honest. So we did get them, and they were kind enough to just wrap them up in a bag and leave it on the door. So they didn't even have to enter. We didn't have to breathe their air. They didn't have to breathe our air. But the place is seriously, like I said, understaffed. Every place is understaffed. Now, I will say this. I am not the friendliest guy. People probably think that I'm intense or standoffish, and that's on them. That's not on me. I'm a fair person. If a person treats me properly, I treat them with the same respect. I don't give a fuck where you're from. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. But what I did find out, again, I've had conversations with people all over the world, India, China, like I said, all over the fucking world, right? All nationalities. Matter of fact, we met some nice people from Alaska. First time I ever had a conversation with Native Alaskans. It was fun. What, as a black man in America, I can't get a conversation with a black person. All other black men seem to do is cut their fucking eye at you. Like every black man looks at the next black man as some kind of threat, as we pose a threat. I don't see white people conducting themselves that way. I don't see Hispanics conducting themselves that way. I don't see Asians conducting themselves that way. Now, we talk about being woke and proud and unapologetically black, but we spend too much fucking time side-eyeing each other. I think I spoke to one black person in 7-day span who did not work somewhere, and he only spoke to me because he liked my sneakers. He thought my sneakers was hot. I had on some Jordans. But other than that, every time that I crossed path with a black person, it was like they were trying to look me up and down from head to toe. And you know what? I'm a little bit tired of that kind of bullshit. We really need to get past that. I did win some money here and there. Did I break the bank? No. Do these YouTubers show you that every day they make these massive jackpots? Sure. If you put enough money in the machine, eventually you were going to hit some form of a jackpot. I mean, not a jackpot, but a bonus or something like that. And when you do, I guess that's when they start filming. They go home, they do the serious editing to make it seem like they won so much, but they never let you know how much they lost. I mean, I won 80 here, 140 there, 120 here. I won a bet for 260 on golf. Matter of fact, I like to congratulate Patrick Chanley. He beat Bryson DeChambeau while we were there in the BMW Championship. It took 6 playoff holes, and we sweating it out because we didn't have Bryson DeChambeau to win, but we had Patrick Chanley to win, and he won, and that bet paid out 260 for every $10, and I was happy to collect that. And then yesterday, Patrick Chanley also won the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup. Good for him, $15 million in his pocket. He's probably going to win Player of the Year. I thought that was pretty great. I mean, the man put money in my pocket, so I appreciate him right now. LaMarcus Aldridge is going to return to the Nets. He took off 5 months. He retired for irregular heartbeat. I guess he got all the clearance that he feels he needs, and he's going to go back to work for the Nets. He's chasing that championship. I don't blame him. Now, to close out with Vegas, if you feel comfortable going and you're going to wear masks, and I'm going to say for 99% of the people without issue wore masks indoors. I never seen it be an issue. I never really seen anybody running around too much without one. If you are smoking or drinking or at a bar or restaurant, they don't sweat you having a mask on. So there are a lot of times where you could take it off. So, and then with the AC, it's not that bad. It's going outside with the mask that's miserable. And when we got there, we had the wildfire smokes from California. So that was kind of hard the first 2 or 3 days, what that was doing to the lungs and stuff. But for the most part, you know what? If you can handle the mask, that's fine. But can you handle the lack of staff? Can you handle longer lines? Can you handle the place not being as bubbly and friendly? I'm not talking about the visitors. I'm talking about the staff. Like I said, once again, they may be overtaxed. They might be overworked. But with this unemployment thing ending, maybe people are going to go back to work. But I give Vegas a thumbs up. I love Vegas. I've been going there since 96. So that's a long time. I mean, the food, everything seems to be open for the most part. There are a lot of places that are still closed. Places even inside like Planet Hollywood, Miracle Mile, closed. Places in Caesars, closed. There are a lot of buildings that you would expect, or places you would expect to be open, are closed. And that's just the way it is. Even the tram from TI to Mirage didn't run one day we were there. I mean, things like that happen. It's just bound to happen until they get the staff back. But I can't wait for them to get the staff back because that habitat, that wildlife habitat at Flamingo really suffered. The UFC last weekend they had a card, and this weekend they had a card, Brunson versus Till. And we got a chance to see this Paddy Pimblett, who was what they said he was. I'm not gonna jibe. He put the smoke on this kid, and he took him out. Khalil Roundtree kick to the knee of that young man was devastating. I don't know how long that guy's going to be out. A lot of fighters think that kick should be considered illegal. We'll see what goes on down the line. Tom Aspinall looks like Frank Mir has returned. He looks like a junior version of Frank Mir, and he was outstanding as usual. David Brunson beat Darren Till, and this is like his 4th or 5th fight in a row that he's won. And I'm wondering if Dana's going to actually give him a shot at Alessandra. I think that it's probably time. The Brooklyn Nets the New York Knicks and the Golden State Warriors are not going to allow players who have not received the COVID vaccine to play in their own home arenas, and there's not going to be any exceptions. So I'm wondering, is Kyrie vaccinated? Because if not, then that means Kyrie cannot play home games for the Nets. And then you have to think about anybody that's on the fence and they're not vaccinated. Why keep them on the roster? Because it doesn't make sense. They can't play home games, which means half of the season they'll be out. Now, visiting teams, as long as they don't violate any kind of COVID policies, they can play. But they're talking about their own home players because state law supersedes team law. Okay, I think if you rewind this, you understand what I'm saying. The NFL comes back this Thursday. I'm going to go through these games and I'm going to get out of here. Okay, my Dallas Cowboys play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At Tampa. I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win that game. This is a hot game to start the season. The Steelers go to Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo. The Jets come to Carolina. I'm taking Carolina. Jacksonville goes to Houston. I'm going with Houston. Arizona goes to Tennessee. I like Tennessee. The Chargers go to Washington. I'm going to take Washington. So far, it seems like I'm picking the home teams, and it's not on purpose. The Eagles are going to Atlanta. I think the Atlanta Falcons are better. Seattle is going to Indianapolis. Another very good game, but I'm going to take Seattle on this one. Minnesota's going to Cincinnati. I'm taking Minnesota Vikings. San Francisco is going to Detroit. Let's see if San Francisco lives up to the hype. I'm taking the 49ers. Cleveland is playing Kansas City. What a first week game. I got to go with the Chiefs. Miami is going to New England. I'm not going to take a straight rookie in his first game, even at home. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to beat New England. Broncos are going into the Giants. I'm going to take the Broncos. And Green Bay is going into Louisiana. I don't even know if they're going to play in Louisiana because of Ida, but I'm going to take the Packers to win this game. Chicago is the late night game versus the Rams on Sunday, and I'm going to take the Rams to win that. And then Monday Night Football is going to be the Ravens going to Las Vegas. Las Vegas Raiders are going to lose their first official game in Las Vegas to the Baltimore Ravens. And that's my picks. Now, I hope that I've been helpful some way or another to you about what's going on in Vegas. I'm not telling you not to go. I'm telling you to go, be smart, to not expect normal if you have not been there since the pandemic. Don't let those videos fool you that things are 100% back to normal. They could say all that back bullshit they want. No, people are back, but things are not back as they were. I've been going since 96. I know how the place functions, you know. And actually, I did something that was very smart this time. I've never done this before. I've used more credit than I did cash. What I did was all my meals I charged, then paid my bills as soon as I got home. This way, my cash actually went towards gambling, drinking, etc. Because I want you to know the fees in some ATMs are going to be as high as $8. Circa, I think, was like $6.99. New York is like $7.99. I mean, you can always go to Walgreens or CVS and maybe get it a little cheaper, $3.50, $4. But the cheapest that I seen for ATM fee might have been $4.99. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to walk around with $2,000, $3,000 in your pocket at one time. Not that you should be worried about somebody doing anything to you, especially if you carry yourself in a manner people don't approach you. In all the years that I've been going, and I'm saying since 96, I have never been approached sideways in all the times. And I've been out every form of hour you could think, from 6 a.m. to 6, let's say from 6 to 6 a.m. to 4:30 in the morning. I've been out there. I've actually sat out there. Matter of fact, New York, I love the fact that they have benches. that are now right outside Tom's Urban so that you could pop a squat when you want to just take a break from the music inside. You just want some air, even though it's horrible hot air, some air. What they need to do is clear them fucking pigeons out around New York. New York, they look so sad. And I mean, New York does not have pigeons that weathered. Trust me, New York City's pigeons eat because there's enough garbage to go around. The New York City pigeons have bellies. These pigeons look like they smoke crack, meth, amphetamine, and shoot heroin. And they're not a good representative. They need somebody to chase these pigeons away. But I appreciate you, and I'll be back next Monday. And like I like to tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours.